This Good Morning Northwest Morning Sprint is brought to you by Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning.
It is now just about 6:53. Time to get you ready to take on your Friday and the weekend in the morning sprint.
Now, Mark is talking about some scattered showers and some little bit cooler temps today.
Destiny Richards is live with what you need to know to prepare for high school graduation weekend at the podium.
But first, there are two separate hearings today on the University of Idaho murders. Let's get to Sydney Charles with the details.
That's right. The first hearing this morning is on the gag order in place, which limits information about the investigation from being released. The other on cameras being allowed in the courtroom. Brian Kohberger, the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students last fall, does not want cameras allowed at his upcoming trial. Court documents show that Kohberger and his legal team believe cameras would serve as a distraction and that it could derail his chances at getting a fair trial. 4 News Now is part of the group of journalism organizations asking for cameras to be allowed in the courtroom and also for the gag order preventing people involved in the case to talk about it publicly be lifted. We're expecting to hear from the Associated Press and the Consalvas family attorney. 4 News Now will be in Moscow for today's court proceedings, and you can follow all updates on the hearings on KXLY.com.
Continue following historic breaking news this morning as well. Former President Donald Trump summoned to appear in a Miami federal court on Tuesday. He was indicted yesterday on 7 counts in the special counsel's classified documents probe, including conspiracy and at least 1 charge related to the Espionage Act. The DOJ has been investigating whether classified documents from the Trump White House were illegally mishandled when they were taken to his Florida Mar-a-Lago resort after he left office. The very latest on the indictment is coming up next on Good Morning America.
All right, we, in our First Alert Weather, in that First Alert Weather app would have paid off handsomely yesterday. Still download it if you don't have it. It's an important piece of equipment on your phone. We do have showers that are rolling in, coming in from the east and the southeast. They're going to roll over the top of us. We are going to see scattered showers today, but more likelihood of thunderstorm activity into the mountains of North Idaho. That's going to take us through the afternoon and evening hours, and then things should be much better for the weekend. Today, we are going to see that potential for thunderstorm activity, but not as intense as we saw yesterday afternoon. High today is going to be 75 degrees.
A major decision from the Supreme Court on voting rights could have a major impact on who controls Congress after the next election. Chief Justice John Roberts and conservative Brett Kavanaugh surprised many by joining the court's liberal justices in striking down Alabama's congressional map, which critics say diluted the power of black voters. The 5-4 decision upheld a lower court ruling finding a redistricting map drawn by the Republican-led Alabama legislature violated the Voting Rights Act. It drew just 1 district out of 7 that had a majority of black voters, even though more than 1 in 4 Alabama residents are black.
The Spokane Teen Addiction Center is no longer being forced to close, at least for now. Today, the Department of Health and Daybreak Youth Services will be back in court. Last month, the Washington Department of Health suspended Daybreak's licenses and said it had to shut down. Now, a Thurston County Superior Court judge says he wants to hear from both sides before making a final decision. They will present their arguments on why Daybreak either should remain open or shut down for good.
7 men from Eastern Washington are in jail accused of sexually abusing children. These arrests were part of an operation spanning several days that specifically went after people targeting children online. Here's the list of men who've been arrested. Investigators are asking anyone with information about them or that could help identify some of the victims in this case to call the Stevens County Sheriff's Office.
A group of bipartisan lawmakers on Capitol Hill will soon introduce a bill to ban the sale of bump stocks and other devices that increase the first rate of semi-automatic guns. The proposed legislation comes after 2 federal appeals courts ruled to strike down a 2017 ban on bump stocks from the ATF.
This morning we've been live at the podium talking all about graduation weekend. There are going to be hundreds of graduates and families that are going through the podium from this evening to Monday morning. You can go to our website, KXLY.com, where we have all the details we've been talking about this morning, from parking to going through security screening to seating to what you can and can't bring here at the podium. That's where you can find also all of the details about where you come in and where you exit when your graduation ceremony is over.
A story many of you are reading on KXLY.com. U.S. Marshals in eastern Washington tracked down and arrested 2 wanted fugitives from Portland. They did this in Spokane on Wednesday. The two young men were both wanted in Portland on charges of first-degree robbery with a firearm. They were caught and arrested on West Rockwell in Spokane.
And something to keep on your radar for next week's morning commutes. New ramp meters will be turned on next week on the Geiger Grove interchange getting onto I-90. Like the other meters, they're meant to make merging onto the freeway safer during rush hour. We'll check weather one more time next.